Congrats on the win. If you want to go ahead and start with an opening statement.
Well, we knew going into this game it was going to be a fight all the way to the end. Even when we were up big, we knew based on what happened last week, Washington down by a lot, and defensively they made plays to get back in it, and offensively they made plays. So we knew they weren't going to go away. We knew it was going to be a fight all the way to the end. So thankfully, our defense got a big stop at the end. Dalen Wade-Perry with a big-time pass rush got the holding call, which pushed him back. And then we got a TFL. So forcing them to have, after a turnover, to kick that field goal was huge. And now put it back in our hands on the offensive side. We knew we were going to run the ball, and we're going to have to make a couple of throws and a couple of catches to win the game. And a lot of credit to Davis Mills. Good game for him. I wouldn't call it a great game, but I would call it a good game for him. But he stepped up and made a couple of big-time throws when we needed him to. And Simi Fehoko, all the talent and ability in the world. We know the more opportunities he gets, the better he's going to be. And he made one big-time catch that came back when the quarterback scrambled. And then late in the game, one-on-one with the guy pass interference on him and make it a big-time catch. Those are the big plays that put the game back in the offensive line's hands to run it out.
Okay, and we will look for questions for Coach. Again, please raise your virtual hand. We will go first to RJ Abadia. Take it away, RJ.
Coach, factoring in the fact that you've got one of the youngest teams in college football, can you just talk about all the punches you guys took in the second half and had answers for, starting with Davis making the tackle on the turnover, Davis's big throw, the defense's answers, just the answers you guys had to the punches you took today?
So and that's actually a great question because we've been talking about that all year. We're one of the youngest teams in America. We've also probably taken some of the most punches in America from the off season, and not having the ability to train like everybody else, to starting late, to losing our quarterback really for a game and a half. We missed the first game, but then the second game, it wasn't quite there yet because he's sitting on his couch for 10 days or 7 days, 8 days, whatever it was. And then going on this road trip and having all these things come our way. And we keep talking about it. The more things you go through, the tougher you are, the more resilient that you are. So our guys, when things hit them in the face, even though they're young, we're kind of used to it and we bounce back, and we're not perfect. When we are more experienced, this is the kind of game that you win by, 14, 17, 21 points. But we're not mature enough yet. We're not old enough yet to really put a good team like Washington away at home. So we'll continue to learn from this. As many guys are excited in the locker room right now, or as many guys now are really upset that we didn't finish the way that we wanted to. And that's what you're looking for as a coach, for the guys that have really, really high standards and know that we can play better.
And then just to finish off with more things you guys had to deal with, anything on Mike, Connor, or Osiris at this point?
Osiris will not play the rest of the year. And it's not looking great for Mike and Connor right now. We'll double check to make sure, but those guys could be out for an extended period of time.
Thank you.
Again, if you're just joining us, we had some connectivity issues on site, but we can hear Coach okay, so we will continue. Let's go to Harold Gutman. Go ahead, Harold.
Hi, Coach. I just wanted to ask you about both parts of the line. First, I guess the offensive line. I mean, not only ZTF, but the whole Washington team didn't get a sack. Just what were they able to do? And then also, you guys were able to run the ball so effectively today. What went into that?
Well, I think that was a big thing. Actually, a couple of big things. Number one is we ran the ball well and kept ourselves out of a lot of third and passing situations. We also had the lead. We haven't really played with the lead much this year. So we're out of those straight passing downs, which helped a ton. That being said, ZTF is a heck of a football player, and thankfully we're able to keep him away from the quarterback. But being able to stay in those third mediums, being able to run the ball physically, and really put some bodies on their bodies more than letting them get after us. That was a big help. And a couple times we got in trouble in the quarterback position, Davis was able to use his legs and move and escape and get the ball out. So those were huge.
And then last thing, just really quick, I think Simi tweeted out that you had that walkthrough in the public park after you got kicked out of a parking garage. Can you just take us through that, what that was like for you?
Yeah, some of the guys say we got Paul Blarted out of the mall parking lot. But you know, it's one of those things where we're constantly trying to minimize high risk contacts as well. So if we could take one bus ride out of it, so we decided to. But it was the weather was so great here. We didn't want to walk through inside. So our Thursday walkthrough, we're trying to find a place. So we found a parking garage. They kicked us out of there. So we went to a park, and outside of the people walking around taking pictures and the ducks walking through the walkthrough was great. Great to get our guys outside. And I tell these guys, everything is an experience. Let's take it all in. You know, there are two types of people that complain and people that act. So we want to be those people that act. And hey, if this is where we have to do it, great, let's do it. Let's do it with a positive attitude. Let's do it to the best of our ability. That's been the mantra the entire week. No matter what happens, let's have a great attitude. Let's work with enthusiasm and do it to the best of our ability.
We'll go next to Jacob Rayburn. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Coach. It's talked about often for players when it comes to momentum and rhythm, building on success. I'm wondering your thoughts on that today in the first half for the offense, but also for you and the offensive staff of establishing your own rhythm and your own momentum and what that means for coaches during a game.
Well, that's also part of having a young team is you can't take your foot off the gas pedal. And we had a big lead. We had a chance to extend the lead. We didn't. We kind of stumbled a couple times, allowed them to make a couple of plays. We made a couple of mistakes on things that we know very well, which allowed them to get back in. So I kept telling them even after the game that this is it. Everything's a test. And we showed in the middle of the game, late in the game, that number one, we couldn't handle the success. We couldn't handle having that lead and being able to put the game away. But number two, we didn't fight. We didn't stop fighting. Right. So that's the one's negative, one's positive, is that we're not mature enough yet and old enough yet and experienced enough yet to really put a team away. But at the same time, even when we don't play perfectly, we're going to fight to the end and find a way to win the game. And that's what happened the last two games. Once again, hasn't been perfect, hasn't been pretty. We have a lot of guys that we're really excited about that are gaining experience as we go. And I say it again, there's no lamenting, but this is the kind of team, and I've been here before, this is the kind of team that, you know, weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 would be a lot of fun with these guys, but we're not going to get those weeks. It's a shortened season. We take everything that we can get and don't take anything for granted, and continue to learn and grow as the season progresses.
And last thing, we've talked before about a Kevin Carberry run game as the run game coordinator, and you've also mentioned that Morgan Turner plays a major role in that as well. So I want to repeat that question. Are we now seeing a Kevin Carberry run game?
You broke up, Jacob. I think I got the gist of your question. You're really starting to see the guys come off the ball with confidence. Once again, they're still young, but they played a lot of football for sophomores. So we're able to make some in-game adjustments. We still made some errors that young guys make to drive you crazy as a coach. But all in all, you see the growth, you see the physical nature. You see guys running their feet on contact. You see holes get created. And the biggest thing you see guys getting moved. We're not getting a lot of stalemates, you know, especially late in the game. We're moving. That's what you want with your offensive line. I think last year we were hit and miss. Sometimes we just covered guys up. And I include Miles Hinton in this, who's just young, but I mean, he moved some people today. He got some people out of the way. But our guys up front are continuing to gain a lot of confidence and a lot of experience.
Thanks, Coach.
We've got time for a few more questions for Coach. Again, apologize for the connectivity issues on site. Troy Clardy, you are next. Let's go to Troy.
Yeah, Coach, two things, and maybe kind of building on the success of the running game. Offensive line obviously did what it needed to do for the most part, but Houston Haimuli appeared to do quite well. What was your initial read on how he was able to do as a lead blocker out there today?
Yeah, Houston wasn't completely healthy early on in the season, and it's gotten healthy as the season has gone. And it's very rare that football coaches say, "Hey, let's get our fullback going." But that's what we've said the last couple of weeks, is that Houston is feeling good, and he's one of those guys that you want to put at the front of the play because he'll get after people. And I won't mention his height, but he's right around 260. He's not 6 foot. He's right around 260, and he's got a great pop. So that power play starts with the fullback and the guy setting the edge, and coming downhill, and those outside stretch plays. Hey, whoever's on the edge, the fullback's got to kick that guy out so we can find a crease. And gosh, I think he was perfect today. He was so good. All of his guys got blocked. All his guys got moved out of the way. We're able to get back through the line of scrimmage. We're really excited. We lost Jay for the rest of the year. So really, we have one fullback, and we're kind of training a couple other guys if we need them. But Houston was really good today.
Second thing, what were some of the points of emphasis for Stanford defensively against Washington this week, and how close did the reality come to what the coaches were expecting?
Well, as many of you know, because I think someone in this group asked a question about stopping the toss play that we couldn't stop against Cal. We saw that multiple times today, and we were able to at least slow down. We got one negative run, a couple other 6 and 7 yard gains, but we didn't get the big runs on those toss plays. So we did a lot better job on those toss plays. We have to defend the deep ball so much better. We really played well on the defensive side, and we gave up, I think, 3 explosive plays that really got them back in the game. We do a better job with those. We got a better job of holding down, but playing against the run, against a team that was dedicated to run the ball, I thought we did very well. Against a relatively athletic quarterback, he didn't hurt us that bad. He won one pretty long run. But the big thing for us was to really stop that toss play really tight to line scrimmage physically, and make it hard on them running the ball, and make them throw it. And we didn't get any interceptions, but for the most part, we played well into those long balls in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
We've got time for one final question. We'll go to Daniel Martinez-Crams. Go ahead, Daniel.
Coach, thank you. 10 of 13 on third down and 2 of 2 on fourth down. That's not something you typically see on the road. What do you attribute that to? Is it not having fans? Is it better downs and distances? What is it?
Well, I will say this. It was a significant difference playing in this stadium without the fans. That did help a lot, first and foremost, because we could hear. Normally you can't hear. But I attribute a lot of it to the running game. For us being able to be physical at the line of scrimmage, to get into those 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6s, and be manageable there. Our quarterback, I thought, outside the first third down, did a really good job managing those third downs. A couple of them he had to move the ball. He couldn't throw the ball on time, but athletically he could move out of the way, find a secondary receiver, find a third receiver. So I thought Davis really helped us out on those third downs, on top of having really good pass protection.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. Congrats.
Thanks, everybody.